Best Christian radio stations live there.
Just went live on Facebook.
Christian station or
Morning, Facebook folks.
The program you like. ChristianRadio.com not only links you to the best Christian radio stations in America, like this one, but also podcasts of great uplifting content designed to grow your faith. Find us now and download the app on either Apple or Android devices. It's the difference maker in your daily walk. ChristianRadio.com.
This is Business 1110.
The following program, paid for by Right Path Real Estate, does not necessarily represent the views or opinions of the staff, management, or ownership of this station. It's time to get on the right path with Right Path Real Estate Radio with Tom Perry. Get the answer to your question that's keeping you from taking action and succeeding today. Get ready. The guide that will put your fears behind you is on the air now. Taking calls at 713-785-1817. Toll free 877-881-0271. Now here's your host, Tom Perry.
Hot mics.
Hey, welcome to the show. Welcome to the show. Right Path Real Estate Radio, 713-785-1817. Well, good morning, everyone, on the Book of Faces. For those of y'all that don't know, if you're listening on terrestrial radio on either AM 1110 or on TuneIn or iHeartRadio or any of those sources, I know we have people that listen nationwide. Then you might also want to know that we video broadcast if you ever want to watch. And the only advantage that you have through that is that you also get to hear what's going on during the breaks as well. So if there's any kind of shenanigans or silliness going on, you kind of get a peek behind the scenes. And so this morning, I actually have a closing to do on a piece of property. So we do them like during the break. Here's the closing docs, and so we're actually we're buying a piece of property today, and then I know that we're wholesaling a piece of property today, and so I've got two closings today. And when you're active in real estate, you should have closings going on every single week. The more closings mean more money, right? So. The title of today is, Can You Become a Millionaire Through Real Estate? And I think everybody knows the answer to that. But the reason why I posed the question is, I know that we may have some brand new listeners that don't realize that one of the things that we talk about right here at Right Path, oh wow, I'm looking past the camera, looking out through my office window, and I'm watching the scaffolding is going up. We're actually on the ground floor of this building, and the scaffolding's going up, and they're cleaning the walls between the floors. So anyhow, sorry about that. Got a little bit distracted for those of y'all watching. So yeah, this guy's all strapped in. Yeah, safety first, right? All right. So anyhow, back to real estate. A lot of people don't realize all the different ways that you make money in real estate. And what you don't know about real estate can absolutely cost you a fortune. In fact, we just did a weekend event, and I think that everybody that shows up for the weekend expects to learn essentially the equivalent in terms of baking, like how to bake a cake, right? There's a lot of similarities between baking a cake and doing either a house flip or a wholesale or a buy and hold. And what I mean by that, obviously there's no ovens involved. Technically there is on flips and on buy and holds. There's ovens involved, right? But it's about the system and the process. Just about everybody I've ever met that's talked about baking a cake, they have a particular order that they do things in. There's a particular way that they, if they sift the flour or, what size bowl do they mix everything in, and when do they add the water or do they use milk? There's a little bit of a uniqueness to the recipe, and then there's also a uniqueness to how they combine the ingredients. Sometimes they'll get all the batter together, and maybe they'll cover it with some saran wrap and then stick it in the fridge for a little while. And then sometimes they don't do that. They want to pour it, fresh into a cake pan and then bake it. Some people do round cakes. Some people do rectangular cakes. There's all different types of preferences, right? But most people have if I gave you the ingredient for a cake that I like, you could probably, and it's not just the ingredients, you'd have to know the order in which things put in. And you'd have to have some instructions along the way. And if I just hand that to you like on an index card, like the way my grandmother used to keep recipes, or the way my mother keeps recipes, then I could hand you the recipe, unless it had the instructions, the notes. You could just throw all the ingredients together. It wouldn't necessarily get the cake that my grandmother and my mom used to make. And so the same thing happens when you learn how to flip a house, or you learn how to wholesale a house, or you learn how to do a house buy and hold. We just taught the weekend event. And one of the aha moments for somebody that was in the class, we were asking him, hey, how many houses do you want to flip this next year? And he said, well, I'd like to do maybe 10 or 12 houses. Okay, so like one a month. So you're going to oftentimes have more than one house going on at the same time. Or, I never really thought about that. Because a lot of people think, well, I'll buy one on the first of the month and, sell it on the first of the next month, and do a transaction in 30 days. Well, it doesn't really, that sounds great on a spreadsheet, but it doesn't really work that way in real life, right? And then the question is, not everybody, but a lot of people in real estate know the rule for the guideline for flipping houses. That when you buy a house, that's when you make the money. You actually receive the money when you sell the house. But a lot of people know the rule of 70% minus repairs. There's a 30% spread between the after repair value, which a lot of people teach, minus the cost of repairs. So when we buy at 70% minus repairs, we've got margin in there. Where's that margin? Where's that number come from? And we talked about over the weekend that comes from a lending number. That's what lenders are willing to be all in at, is 70% of the appraised value. Because real estate is a self-collateralizing asset, lenders are willing to lend on it up to 70% without your credit or income or savings, all that kind of stuff coming into play. Do you have to have a little bit of money? Yeah, most lenders are going to want to at least see that you can pay the taxes and the interest payment and the insurance on a monthly basis. That you've got 3, 4, 5, 6 months of that, and then also that you have the money to pay the contractors to get them started, because they're not going to typically advance you the money on that. So you have to understand the process of that. But just because the lender's willing to lend on that, does that necessarily mean that you're going to be profitable if you buy at that number? And the answer is no, because your holding costs may be longer. And the lender doesn't really care about your holding costs, because those don't accrue. So unless you have a lender that's not requiring monthly payments, and that those holding costs accrue, but most hard money lenders don't do that. Most asset-based lenders don't do that. Some private money lenders do, and that's fine, but you would only do that if you were an experienced investor, that you actually know how to calculate the numbers. But if you're looking at 70% minus repairs, that's based on, imagine if you miss that number. Let's say you think that the house is going to be worth $300,000 when it's all said and done, and you miss that, and it's actually only, $270,000. You've missed by 10%, and to the lender, that's not really that big of a deal. They're going to help make sure that you don't miss that number, but even if you did, they're still going to get their money back. You may not make any money, but they're still going to get theirs. But where does that 30% number come from? Well, for a lot of people, they recognize that number it's 10% for holding, 10% for selling cost, and 10% for profit. So it's amazing how sometimes people will build a business model on paper, and they say, okay, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to flip 10 houses in this next year. I'm going to make $30,000 per house, and then I'm going to make $300,000 in a year flipping houses. Okay, good plan so far. Now all you have to do is execute it. But then I said, well, what price range house do you want to flip? And he says, well, I want to flip, probably $150,000, $170,000 houses. And some of y'all are racing ahead in this story, and some of y'all are just listening, and here's the issue. If you're making 10% of whatever the sales price of the house is, out of that 70% minus repairs, assuming that your repair numbers are right, and your holding costs are right, and your selling costs are right, then how do you make 10% of a $170,000 house equal $30,000? And the answer is you don't. So what's happening is by design, without you realizing it, you're destined to fail. And when do most people realize that? It's when they get 2 or 3 or 4 houses into this, and they look at what they're spending on marketing, they look at what they're spending their time, and they look at that they've only made, after 3 flips, they're expecting to have $90,000, and they only have like $45,000. And it's not that their work is wrong, it's not that their effort is wrong, it's not that their intelligence is wrong, it's that the design is wrong.
2 minutes.
So are you designing a business to succeed? Well, and here's the other issue you have to recognize about flipping houses. Everything has to work out according to the plan in order for you to make the money that you need to do. There's no room for error, because once you sell the house, there's no way, if you lose money on a flip, there's no way to go back and recover that. And what I see is the progression that a lot of new investors do is they come into real estate and let's say they don't have a whole lot of money. And so what they want to do is there's teachers out there that want to say, oh, well, if you don't have any money, that's easy. All you got to do is find a buyer for a house, and then find out what it is they're looking to buy. And then go out there and find that house for them. Well, aren't you really kind of representing them as an agent at that point? The only difference that you're doing between that and being an agent is that you're not focusing on the 95% of the deals that go through agents. You're focusing on the 5% that sell to investors. For some investors, if they would quit trying to be an investor, and I'm going to say something controversial, go get their real estate license and be an agent. I'm not saying that you shouldn't be an investor. I'm just saying that sometimes the path that we make for ourselves is a lot harder because we don't see what the other options are. We can always measure the cost of doing something. What we oftentimes can't measure is the cost of not doing something. And so some people say, well, there's so many agents out there. Yeah, there's a lot of investors too, but I've never concerned myself in business with what other people are doing. I only focus on what I have control over. Hey, the music says I'm out of time for this segment, but we're going to continue this conversation. If you'll hang in there, you're going to pick up some big nuggets. You're listening to Right Path Real Estate Radio, practical real estate investing. Stay tuned.
Mic's off.
All right.
Hello, real estate investors. Do you need a lender that moves fast at the speed of a jet to fund your investment properties? Jet Lending will help you purchase properties quickly with as little cash out of pocket as possible. Jet Lending also sets up a repair escrow fund to help you with repair costs. Jet Lending has originated over 2,000 loans in Texas, valued at over $250 million. Jet Lending will help you evaluate your deals for free and give you feedback on value, cost of repairs, and potential loan amount. Jet Lending is your fast and friendly hard money source for first-time investors and seasoned professionals. Call 281-872-7800 or email us at info@jetlending.com. Oh, and don't forget about our famous Third Wednesday Super Investor Networking Meeting. Lots of fun, lots of great real estate talk. We'll see you there.
Hi, Clint Coons here, attorney and avid real estate investor. You know the greatest mistake real estate investors make is not understanding the potential liability that exists from owning real estate. At Anderson Business, Legal, and Tax Advisors, we specialize in protecting real estate investors in all 50 states. In addition to structuring your business for optimum protection, we provide guidance so you pay the least amount of taxes available under the law. We have 150 employees that range from lawyers to CPAs to estate planners and much more. Download our free ebook, The Invisible Investor Strategy, today at AndersonAdvisors.com or call for a free risk reduction analysis and financial blueprint at 800-706-4741. Anderson Business Advisors will help you keep more of what you earn. Call us today at 800-706-4741 and mention Right Path Real Estate.
Time is money in a real estate deal. If your insurance company is slow or non-responsive, you could lose a deal like that. You need a quick turnaround on quotes or binders? The agency for that is Benchmark Insurance Group of Texas. The team at Benchmark understands the investor mindset. They know what you need and when you need it. We're here for you. Are you a rehabber, wholesaler, buy and hold, or flipper? Bundling your properties on a single policy will help save time and money. Benchmark has been in business for over 10 years, and we insure over 30,000 properties. Contact Benchmark about our exclusive investor package. Call us and let us show you what we can do for you at 281-569-4353.
I am back.
That's 281-569-4353.
All right.
All right.
Or online at benchmarkbroker.com. That's benchmarkbroker.com. That's 281-569-4353. Or online at benchmarkbroker.com.
Are you looking for an investor
All right, 1 minute.
general contractor for your investment property? Then call Fast Track Remodeling at 832-742-9992 or reach us on the web at fasttrackremodeling.com.
Fast Track Remodeling specializes in turnkey remodeling of single-family investment properties. Whether it's a flip rehab or a rental rehab, we manage every aspect of a rehab from start to finish with a highly efficient, standardized process.
Over the last 6 years, Fast Track has completed over 700 projects, which has helped us to create our 3 keys to success. Use a detailed scope of work so that everything gets done, train and maintain quality crews so it gets done right, and complete the work in a proper order so it gets done fast.
No more managing it yourself, no more doing the work yourself. Fast Track Remodeling really does manage it all.
So give us a call today at 832-742-9992. Again, that's 832-742-9992, or reach us on the web at fasttrackremodeling.com.
This is Business 1110.
All right, hot mics.
Hey, welcome back. Right Path Real Estate Radio, 713-785-1817. If you see me looking down, I'm just going through some paperwork. Actually, closing on a house. We're buying a house today, which, not an unusual thing. So, if you do this a lot, anytime you do something a lot, the more you do something, the better you get. And, I remember the very first house that we ever bought when we started Houston House Buyers. I mean, it was kind of a big deal when we started doing closings and, all that kind of stuff. And it just... when we were on the buy side or the sell side, I remember in the very beginning we would actually go down to the title company, and nothing wrong with that. But nowadays it's like we do so many closings that we can't have it interrupt the business, and so you build better systems and processes, right? So our system and process now is the title company emails us the docs, we print them out here, then we have a notary in house. I sign the docs. Notary notarizes the docs because they know my signature and all that, and we've already got my ID and all that on file. So then docs go back to the title company, and we're done. So there we go, just finished. There we go, house all done. All right, so back to what you don't know. So welcome to the folks that have joined since our last segment. So we're talking about flipping and having a recipe or a formula, kind of like baking a cake, and what that looks like from a house flipping standpoint. The thing about flipping a house is that if you miss the rehab number, if you miss I don't like using the term ARV. When people come to our weekend event, people will talk about, the predicted future value, because that's the term that I created. And it takes into consideration more things than what a typical investor just looks at. What I find is when investors are first getting started, they want to be optimistic. They want to think that they're, bigger, faster, stronger, smarter, all these kind of things than other investors out there, that they're going to figure out some, what the market's doing. And what you find oftentimes is that they turn into not investors but speculators. They're speculating on everything working out just perfect. In our weekend, we were actually looking up some properties. Actually had an unusual situation in that a lead came in yesterday that was forwarded to me. I actually was able in the class to make a phone call, and they got a chance to hear me make a phone call to a seller. and they saw how I do that, which is probably different than most people do it. And then I also had a chance to pull up some comps. And in this particular neighborhood, I mean, house probably going to comp somewhere around 110, 109.9, 110,000, something like that. But somebody has gone in a house within a quarter of a mile, like in the same neighborhood, and way over rehabbed a house. And they're trying to get 250. No other house in the entire area. Oh, Andrew's saying that I was going to ask if y'all use a mobile notary. Yeah, actually, we have. I mean, we oftentimes employees, when it doesn't take a lot to be a notary. So oftentimes when we've hired people that are like a transaction coordinator, if they're not a notary already, we make sure that they get their notary. So I think we have 1, 2, 3 people in our offices that have a notary license. So if anyone's ever out, we've always got a backup. So yeah, we've got 3 notaries in house, and so that's yeah, yeah. Because Andrew, that it just with the volume that we do, I mean, it's not unusual for us to do 2 or 3 or 4 or even 5 closings in a week, and so not have and then not only that, to all the other documents that we do, whether they're lien releases or memorandum of contract, all those other things, it makes sense for all the documents that we're filing. We also e-file directly with the county. So we set up an e-file account and all of that so we can file stuff here. So anyhow, it's just, and again, that's part of the process. And I try and teach everything on the weekend. It's just physically impossible. What we do is we teach you more than enough to get started, way more than enough to get started. And but you know what we expose oftentimes in the entire weekend is not just, what's our recipe or our formula for success, but what's the thinking that goes in behind that? Because if our thinking is off and our actions are right, we still will not succeed. And one of the truths that we really focus on here at Right Path is that the actions that we take, yes, they lead to our results. And so many people want to come in and focus on the actions. Like they realize that, hey, what I'm doing is not working because what I've got is, not what I want. I want something different. But most people don't spend enough time deciding what they want that's different. Because what I can tell you is that, think of this in real life terms. Imagine that you were over, not in the military or anything like that, but you were on vacation, if you can imagine that, in Afghanistan. And it's blistering hot, like you're in the desert and it's blistering hot. And you go, oh my gosh, I want to be anywhere but here. And then poof, God transported you immediately to Antarctica. And you would be, trust me, just as miserable. So be careful what you ask for, because oftentimes the universe will give you what you ask for. And what you ask for may not be what you really want. So why not be more specific about what it is that you want? I'm always amazed in my life how I might get stuck on something in an area of my life. And I just put it out there, hey, I'm stuck. And obviously the first place that I go is my network. Because they say that your net worth is directly related to your network. And I'll give you a real life example. There's a particular area of our business that I feel like I've been stuck in for about maybe a month, maybe more. I became aware of it. Oftentimes we don't know that we're stuck until we become aware of it. We can't really start focusing on the problem until we become aware of the problem. So I became aware of it, realized what it was able to quantify and qualify what it is, what specific area we're stuck. And then I know this guy really, really well. I consider him, in my inner circle of 5 close people. Somebody that if I were in a jam, I'd pick up the phone, call him, one of the first 5 phone calls that I would make. And what was fascinating is I said, hey, don't you have a friend that kind of generally, I know that his friend does this, generally is in this certain area. And I said, what? Can you tell me what specifically do they do? Kind of like asking you, hey, you got a friend that's a doctor. Hey, I know you're a doctor, but I'm really having some, issues with, maybe a pain in a joint or something like that, and he goes, oh yeah, I just happen to be an orthopedic, which is the kind of doctor, and my specialty is, pain in joints. That's my specialty. I mean, isn't it amazing how the universe just kind of shows up with that kind of, when you get specific about what it is that you're looking for, it just kind of appears. So turns out I said, hey, your friend, I know they're generally in this, kind of like saying, hey, I know they're a doctor, but, are they a GP? Are they a pediatrician? Are they a surgeon? Are they a neurologist? Are they a psychiatrist? Because let's face it. If you have a specific problem health-wise, you need a specific solution, right? And so in this case, I have a specific problem. Not health-wise. You understand the analogy. So I asked, he goes, his answer was great. He goes, they've explained it to me exactly what they do, but I don't do nearly as good of a job explaining it as they do, so here's their number. And sure enough, I called them, and in the length of time from the time that they sent me the number and the time that I called, they had already called and said, hey, be expecting a call from Tom. So they were expecting it. And so when I talked to him, I said, hey, just talk to my friend and our friend, and he said that this is what you do, but he couldn't tell the specifics. And they started describing what it did, and I was like, oh my God, that's exactly what it is that we're looking for. And so one of the things that we talked about this weekend is that, if you want to grow your net worth, you've really got to grow your network. Because if you had the skill set already to solve the problem that you're facing right now with whatever it is you're struggling with, then it wouldn't be a problem. Or at least you'd be at work on the problem, and for us to try and figure out and solve our own problems when, life has gotten so specialized. It used to be, I think, that generalists were valued in our society. But now, in order to compete, I was talking about this on the weekend, that even if you look at something like marketing, if you've got a good website designer, they really don't have time, if they're really a 10 at that, to do anything outside of that field. In fact, if they're doing anything outside, then someone else that only focuses on that one area of specialty, designing websites, will probably outperform in the long term the person that's trying to be a generalist. Because I know that, website design and coding and, the all of that software to allow people to design websites is constantly changing. There's constant updates. There's constant, but every industry is that way. So if someone's trying to teach you real estate and they're not actually doing real estate on a regular basis, then they're not going to always be up with what's currently going on in the marketplace. And is that who you want to learn from? We're going to keep talking on the other side of the break. The music says I'm out of time. I'll be right back. I hope you will too. You're listening to Right Path Real Estate Radio, 713-785-1817.
Mike's off.
Thank you. Now, Nikki, are you in town for the holidays?
Taxes. Just the
Yes.
sound of that word makes cringe. At Anderson Advisors,
Yeah, what do you
we
got going
provide
on? Anything
tax
fun?
reduction through asset protection
I'll be
for
in
real
town.
estate investors throughout the country. Our unique philosophy has CPAs, lawyers,
Yeah, I'll be in
bookkeepers,
town.
and estate planners with one common goal: helping you, the real estate investor. Check us out today at AndersonAdvisors.com, and don't forget
Hold on,
to
I'm gonna be
tell
right
us
back.
you heard about us at Right
Okay.
Path Real Estate.
You found or inherited a great investment property. Problem is, you don't know how much it's worth, or more importantly, what to do to maximize your investment while mitigating risk. This is exactly why we started Next Gen Appraisals. Next Gen is a group of appraisers specializing in investment real estate. We understand that investors aren't just looking for a number of what their property is worth, but a comprehensive analysis of the market. Give NextGen a call at 713-346-9911 or check us out online at nextgenappraisals.com.
Hello, real estate investors. Do you need a lender that moves fast at the speed of a jet to fund your investment properties? Jet Lending will help you purchase properties quickly with as little cash out of pocket as possible. Jet Lending also sets up a repair escrow fund to help you with repair costs. Jet Lending is your fast and friendly hard money source for first-time investors and seasoned professionals. Call 281-872-7800 or email us at info@jetlending.com.
Are you looking for an investor-friendly general contractor for your investment property? Then call Fast Track Remodeling at 832-742-9992 or reach us on the web at fasttrackremodeling.com.
Fast Track Remodeling specializes in turnkey remodeling of single-family investment properties, whether it's a flip, rehab, or a rental rehab. No more managing it yourself. No more doing the work yourself. Fast Track Remodeling really does manage it all.
So give us a call today at 832-742-9992. Do you have cracks in your brick, doors that stick, or sheetrock that's coming apart? Then you may have foundation movement. Due to our expansive soils in the Houston area, it's probably not a question of if you have movement, but when. Call Foundation Check for a truly independent, unbiased foundation evaluation. Foundation Check has been in business since 2009 and has
How many more minutes?
over 1,400 evaluations.
90 seconds.
All right, I'll be right back.
Business of repairing foundations or selling you unnecessary pier work, but we are in the business of evaluating your foundation. Our product is designed for house flippers, landlords, or even owner-occupied properties. Each of our files is reviewed by a licensed engineer. Remember to check before ever repair. Call 346-702-3825. That's 346-702-3825. Or you can reach us online at foundationcheck.com. That's foundationcheck.com.
Did you know that there are over $24 trillion in retirement accounts in the U.S.? Imagine if you could use someone's IRA to fund all of your deals. Well, you can. Quest IRA is based locally here in Houston, Texas. At Quest IRA, we offer retirement accounts that can be used to invest in real estate, promissory notes, private entities, and much more. Many of our clients loan money from their IRAs to fund real estate deals all over the country. We don't sell any investments or give advice. However, we do hold free networking events, weekly educational classes, and free consultations with an IRA specialist. For more information, visit our website at questira.com or call us at 1-855
I'm here.
IRAs.
I'm still here.
The $24 trillion in retirement accounts in the U.S. Call Quest IRA at 1-855-FUN-IRAs or go to our website.
That's a phrase from one of my favorite speakers, a guy named Neil Jeffries.
Business 1110.
He's a great guy. I'll turn it up.
All right, here we go. Hot mics.
Yeah. Hey, welcome back. Right Path Real Estate Radio, 713-785-1817. That's 713-785-1817. So what we were talking about is we have what we have because what we do. We do what we do because of how we decide. We decide based on how we think. That's going from the end to the beginning. So most people, what they focus on is they want to focus on what they're doing, do something different, get a different result. But that won't ever happen. We won't do something different, like significantly different, unless we change our thinking. So if we change our thinking, we'll change our decisions. Our decisions will lead to different actions. Our actions will lead to different results. So many people have it in their mindset based on their thinking. Their thinking creates this idea. I need to wholesale so that I can flip, so that I can do buy and hold. And the reality is that's based on broken thinking. But if you don't know that that's broken, you won't make different decisions. You won't look for, in other words, once we accept something to be true, we don't challenge it anymore, especially if we know it to be true. Why would we challenge something that we know to be true? And that's the problem with broken thinking, is that we believe that it's true. So if that's the issue, and really always what it is we don't know how to finance it with our own money. And if we don't have our own money, we know that the financing rules. And so instead of learning a new way to finance so that you can go directly to buy and hold to really create wealth and income, or if we look at that, we say, hey, I want to make $1 million in a year. You know, oftentimes CEOs of a corporation, they'll make a lot of money, but part of it is in stock options and part of it is in salary. So in other words, part of it's in equity, part of it's in income. So would you be okay if you had $800,000 in equity capture and only $200,000 in income? Or $100,000 in income and $900,000? Or maybe no income and $1 million in equity? That's still, or it's because that's easier to do than $1 million of income and no equity. In fact, equity is really where it comes down to. That is where the real wealth building becomes. In fact, one of the things that people don't realize about real estate that's so fantastic is the leverage that you get. You know, if you have a lender that will allow you to put 5% down, which is not uncommon in your own personal residence. Buy a house, put 5% down, finance the other 95%. Do you realize you're leveraged 20 to 1? And that's fantastic because, you know, where a lot of people's wealth is really built for retirement is in the equity in the home. That's where a lot of people's wealth is their own personal residence that they live in. They put 5% down. They've got, you know, let's say they buy a $200,000 house. They put $10,000 down. And then 30 years from now, that's not a $200,000 house. It's like a $500,000 or $600,000 house. So over time, that's appreciated 2 to 3 to 4 times or more. But I can't think of a single place in all of Houston that are houses in areas that you would consider safe. I mean, there are some areas in Houston that, you know, they were not safe areas or they're not safe areas now, you know, that I don't know that they'll appreciate until somebody goes in and changes that. But in areas that it's safe to live in, you know, blue-collar neighborhoods and up, especially when you're buying houses that are below replacement costs, there's 2 ways down. You're going to have the appreciation of the neighborhood as building costs rise and that, but you can also have forced appreciation where you go in and buy a house at a discount because it needs work and you fix it up. You add value to the house. That's forced appreciation. That's what we're doing oftentimes is that we say that we're buying it at a discount to the ARV, but in reality, in economics terms, what we're really doing is buying and forcing appreciation because we're adding value. We're buying it at the value that it's worth in the condition it's in. We improve the condition and we're forcing appreciation. So when the value of a property increases, that's called appreciation, and appreciation's not always guaranteed. Reading an article from Forbes, and it says, just like people who bought in 2006 and sold in 2010, well, that's true, but very few people hold a property for only 4 years. Because the reality is, even if you bought at the low of 2006, at the high of 2006, and if you've held it on for 10 years, in fact, one of the things I love is what Dr. Dotzauer teaches, is that you can't pick any point in time in the Texaplex area, that's Dallas, Houston, Austin, San Antonio, in those cities. There's no 10-year period of time where you look at where it was as a high. If you bought at a high and you sold 10 years later, and let's say that it went through a low during that time period, if you hold a property for 10 years, there's never been a 10-year period of time, even if you bought at the peak of the market, any market, and then it crashed right after that. If you held it for 10 years, Dr. Dotzauer says, you've never sold it for less money than what you bought it for. It's always appreciated. So one of the things I love about buy and hold that you get that you don't get in a flip is you get that appreciation that will bail you out if you make a mistake. As long as you're buying properties that will cash flow, then I can't really overpay. Even if I pay quote-unquote retail, and we spent a lot of time this past weekend talking about that, but if I buy a house at full market value off of MLS, If I buy it off of MLS at full move-in ready price, like an end user owner occupant would pay, it's going to appreciate 5 to 7% year after year after year. In other words, I put 20% down in that scenario. I finance the other 80%. It's going to cash flow about $200 to $300 a month. At $300 a month, it's going to cash flow about 12% of what you've got in the deal. And that's not a bad return for most people. Better than what most people are doing in the marketplace, but that's really more like a dividend than appreciation. And I don't know of any stock that pays a 12% dividend. I don't know of a single one. But then on the appreciation side, if the property appreciates 7%, that's 7% on the entire part, but you're leveraged 5 to 1. There's not a single stock that you can leverage 5 to 1. If you buy $30,000 worth of stock, you own $30,000 worth of stock. I know of some brokerage houses that will allow you to leverage 50% of whatever you own. You own $100,000 worth of stock, they'll let you borrow 50%. Isn't that interesting that lenders on real estate will let you borrow 70% of the basically of the appraised value? But in stocks, what does that tell you? That the financial guys won't lend you more than 50% of the value of the stock. So in other words, you could, with leverage for $100,000, own a particular stock and borrow from the investment house another 50% and buy more stock with that. So you could really use the house's money, if you will. Now they're going to charge you interest rate on all that. They're really loaning you against the value of yours and charging an interest rate. That's a pretty good gig for them. And in real estate, they'll let you do 5 to 1, not 50% to 1. So if a stock goes up, let's say 5% or 10%, then you're getting 15% because you're leveraged 50%. But there's no one else making that interest payment for you, so you've got to actually subtract out the interest payment. But if I've got a rental property that's bringing in $300 a month and it's going up 7% a year, and I only have 20% in the deal and I'm leveraged 5 to 1, I'm really getting a 35% appreciation. But here's the better part. So I've got debt against it, but I'm not making the monthly payment. I mean, I'm making it to the mortgage company, but I'm taking the rent first, and I'm taking the $300 off the top, and I'm paying out. So really my tenant's the one making my interest payment, my principal payment. I get principal pay down. So when you buy a property with a mortgage, each month that your loan balance decreases. It means over time your tenant's essentially paying off the loan for you. That's helping you build wealth automatically. So imagine if I had $150,000. I can go buy a $150,000 house, or I could go buy 5 houses, $30,000 down each. I could buy $750,000. I could buy $550,000 houses. I could own $750,000 worth of real estate with that same $150,000. And if that's growing, would you rather have 7% of $150,000, or would you have 7% of $750,000? Because in 30 years, I could have a $150,000 house that's appreciated 7%, or those mortgages get paid off, and I end up having 5 houses that have appreciated 7% over 30 years. So in other words, that $150,000 house probably going to be worth, let's say, $400,000 30 years from now, something like that. Or I could have $2 million worth of paid off real estate. Which would you rather have? It's concepts like that that keep the poor middle class from building real wealth. So loan pay down is one of the big ways that you make money, and then you get the tax benefits. The government allows you to depreciate a single-family house over 27 and a half years. You get to take the value of the house, divide by 27 and a half, and And then there's 1031 exchanges. The tax benefits alone, it's amazing what the opportunities are. Hey, you're listening to Right Path Real Estate Radio, 713-785-1817, 713-785-1817. I'll be right back.
Mike's off.
Selecting a foundation company and their product for repair is a lot like a game of chance. You simply don't know what you're going to get. The foundation repair industry as a whole doesn't carry a license, nor is it regulated. However, Foundation Check utilizes professional engineers to review all of our files to give you the best foundation analysis in today's market. Remember to check before every repair. Call 346-702-3825, or you can reach us online at foundationcheck.com.
Real estate investors, if you're not familiar with Quest IRA, let me tell you what you're missing. We've got free weekly educational classes, networking opportunities, and the ability to tap into trillions of dollars for your real estate investing deals. Come by our office or join us remotely as we simulcast all of our educational classes every Tuesday morning and evening. For more information, call us at 1-855-FUN-IRAs or visit our website at questira.com.
Hello, real estate investors. Do you need a lender that moves fast at the speed of a jet to fund your investment properties? Jet Lending will help you purchase properties quickly with as little cash out of pocket as possible. Jet Lending also sets up a repair escrow fund to help you with repair costs. Jet Lending is your fast and friendly hard money source for first-time investors and seasoned professionals. Call 281-872-7800 or email us at info@jetlending.com.
You found or inherited a great investment property. Problem is, you don't know how much it's worth, or more importantly, what to do to maximize your investment while mitigating risk. This is exactly why we started Next Gen Appraisals. Next Gen is a group of appraisers specializing in investment real estate. We understand that investors aren't just looking for a number of what their property is worth, but a comprehensive analysis of the market. Give NextGen a call at 713-346-9911 or check us out online at nextgenappraisals.com.
Hi, Clint Coons here, attorney and avid real estate investor. You know the greatest mistake real estate investors
Hey, good morning, Billy.
make is not understanding the potential liability that exists from owning real estate. At Anderson Business, Legal, and Tax Advisors, we specialize in protecting real estate investors in all 50 states. In addition to structuring your business for optimum protection, we provide guidance so you pay the least amount of taxes available under the law. We have 150 employees that range from lawyers to CPAs to estate planners and much more. Download our free ebook, The Invisible Investor Strategy, today at andersonadvisors.com or call for a free risk reduction analysis and financial blueprint at 800-706-4741. Anderson Business Advisors will help you keep more of what you earn. Call us today at 800-706-4741 and mention Right Path Real Estate.
Are you looking for an investor-friendly general contractor for your investment property? Then call Fast Track Remodeling at 832-742-9992 or reach us on the web at fasttrackremodeling.com.
Fast Track Remodeling specializes in turnkey remodeling of single-family investment properties, whether it's a flip, rehab, or a rental rehab. No more managing it yourself. No more doing the work yourself. Fast Track Remodeling really does manage it all.
So give us a call today at 832-742-9992.
Time is money in a real estate deal.
30
If
seconds.
your insurance company is slow or non-responsive, you could lose a deal like that. You need a quick turnaround on quotes, binders, and the agency for that is Benchmark Insurance Group of Texas. The team at Benchmark understands the investor mindset. They know what you need and when you need it. It's there for you. Call Houston's leading real estate risk management experts, Benchmark Insurance Group of Texas, 281-569-4353. That's 281-569-4353. Or online at benchmarkbroker.com.
This is Business 1110.
All right, hot mics.
Hey, welcome back. Right Path Real Estate Radio, 713-785-1817. We've been talking about buy, fix, and flip, wholesaling, buy and hold, So buy and hold is really the best place to build wealth and income. And oftentimes, now, we also teach wholesaling and we teach buy, fix, and flip, because if you've accumulated some cash in order to be able to do buy and hold, in this current market, it's because of what's going on economically, that the investors are, in my opinion, 8 or 9 out of every 10 transactions, about 80 to 90% of the buyers in the price range below about $170,000, the bulk of those buyers are investors. They're not retail end user owner occupants. So it's hard to buy at a discount to another investor. You can buy at a discount to a retail buyer, but not at a discount to an end user owner occupant. Excuse me, the other way around. You can buy at a discount to an end user owner occupant, but not to another investor. And so if we're not buying at a discount to another investor, we're both buying at what we call the floor, because that's where cash buyers step in and say, these are all the properties that I want to buy. And some people say, well, that's not true, Tom, because I remember back in 2006, we were buying way, and the reality is that was a different floor. When you look at market cycles as the business goes up and down, or as the market goes up and down,
2 minutes.
You can't compare this floor to the last floor, because this floor will never get as low as the last floor. That's typically the way that it works. And so we don't really have a whole ton of time to talk about all the details with the time that I have left. What I do have time to tell you is, if you want to learn more about this, in fact, more importantly, if you want to learn how to build wealth and income for your own family, if that's an area that you've struggled, then you ought to take a look at real estate. And what I'd invite you to do is come to our wealth and income workshop. We'll give you a big picture view of how you can take control of your finances and stop worrying about what your future is going to look like. If you worry about, do I have enough money? Am I going to have enough money? Am I going to be able to have enough money to take care of me for as long as I want to live, or for as long as I'm going to live? And not just have enough to live, but have enough to thrive. That's really what we're looking for, right? Is having enough money to thrive. And most people don't have a plan to get there, because the people in the financial markets, they're working on their own plan, and their plan is not your plan. We want to help you establish your plan that you can take control of your finances so that you have enough money to thrive. Go to rightpathrealestate.com. That's rightpathrealestate.com. Register for our free wealth and income workshop. It's free. All you have to do is invest a little bit of your time.
30 seconds.
So I want to thank you for listening. Today is Monday. I'll be back in the studio tomorrow with Build Your Team Tuesday. So thanks for listening, guys. I will be excited to see you here tomorrow.
All right, mic's off. Have a good one.
Thanks, you too. Bye-bye.